Tgif is the name of a defunct American primetime television programming block that aired on the American Broadcasting Company. The name comes from the initials of the popular phrase "Thank God It's Friday." However, the stars of the lineup touted the abbreviation as meaning "Thank goodness it's funny." The block mainly featured situation comedies aimed at a family audience. It marked one of the first attempts by a major network to brand a programming block, with the goal of encouraging young viewers to watch the entire lineup, instead of just a particular show. The Tgif block dominated the ratings in the 18-49 demographic for most of the 1990s. However, ratings began declining in the latter half of the decade. ABC revived the Tgif brand in September 2003, with its second run lasting only 2 seasons. For both the 1989-2000 and 2003-2005 runs, the block served as a lead into the long-running news magazine 20/20, whose placement on Fridays predates the original launch of Tgif and has remained part of ABC's Friday to this day. History ABC Friday Night Legacy, 1950s to 1970s family-friendly comedies, which featured families with children as major characters, were a staple of ABC's programming dating back to the network's earlier sitcoms from the 1950s onward, such as The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, Leave It to Beaver, The Donna Reed Show, The Flintstones, The Brady Bunch, and The Partridge Family. All of these shows are considered television classics to this day. Jim Janice Tgif was created and executive produced by Jim Janice. Prior to the official launch of the block, Janice was employed as a writer and producer for ABC Entertainment, who was in charge of promoting the network's Tuesday and Friday night comedy lineups. Recalling his childhood when his family would gather to watch The Wonderful World of Disney, he was inspired to create a family-oriented comedy block. In 1988, Janice began gaining support for his concept by approaching the studios and talent of independently produced ABC shows, promoting the synergy and potential success of the family block brand. With 4 ABC family-oriented comedy series on board, and the backing of network president Bob Iger, the initial lineup for the block was created. Before ABC experienced its success on that night during the 1980s, its Friday night schedule consisted of hit comedies such as Webster, Benson and, for its final season, Different Strokes. The block of predominantly family-friendly situation comedies was inaugurated in the 1988-89 season with Perfect Strangers, Full House, Mr. Belvedere and Just the Ten of Us. Since the 1987-88 season, Perfect Strangers stars Mark Lynn-Baker and Bronson Pinchot had been doing hosted interstitials that were conducted from the Perfect Strangers set, originally airing during the 2-hour Wednesday sitcom block that their series was part of as that season began. In March 1988, Perfect Strangers moved to Fridays, and the interstitials went with them. On Fridays, the hosted interstitial concept gained more traction before the family-friendly concept on that night was actually implemented. Pinchot and Lynn-Baker would remain the sole hosts of the Friday lineup throughout the 1988-89 season. Meanwhile, ABC began reformulating its Tuesday night lineup which, for the past several seasons, had consisted of a comedy block from 8:00 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time followed by 2-hour-long dramas, most notably with the hit series Moonlighting airing at 9 p.m. Eastern. Moonlighting, then in its 5th season and starting to experience a considerable decline in its ratings, was placed on a temporary hiatus by ABC in February 1989 when the network decided to add a second hour of comedy offerings onto its Tuesday schedule. Janice, in response, came up with the idea to promote the restructured lineup under a unified brand name, Terrific Tuesday, to draw audiences to the changes, to reference the 2 additional sitcoms that were being offered, and especially as a nod to Who's the Boss? And the freshman smash hit Roseanne, which now served as a strong anchor for the expanded comedy lineup. The Terrific Tuesday branding was a success, and ABC urged Janice to continue the banner name for the following season. At the time of the network upfronts that unveiled the upcoming fall schedule in May 1989, Janice, as well as ABC, devised the notion of further promoting their family fun-themed Fridays with a brand name. Over the summer, ABC began promoting the Friday sitcoms under the experimental title, The Friday Fun Club. While Terrific Tuesday and What a Wednesday were both on tap for the 1989-90 fall season, the Friday branding concept was to undergo a revision before September. First run of TGIF TGIF brand debuts. As a result of ABC and Janice's plan for Friday brand familiarity, definitive changes occurred to the lineup on Friday, September 22, 1989. An opening sequence for the 2-hour block was introduced, featuring animated mice against a gray background. The theme music, featuring a male vocalist and a falsetto-tuned backup chorus, sang the lyrics, "Time for fun, time for a good laugh, time for fun." The mice held up title cards containing the selected theme lyrics "Thank goodness," and "It's funny." The sequence concludes with a tall mouse breaking a grandfather clock with a mallet, which cut to the hosted interstitial. For the first time, another show's cast assumed hosting duties for the interstitials in place of the stars of Perfect Strangers. Dave Coulier, John Stamos and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen all appeared on the set of Full House introducing the season and series premiered that night. As they began their first segment, the TGIF name was officially introduced, in which its meaning, "Thank goodness it's funny," was re-emphasized from the theme lyrics. Coulier and Stamos also announced that a new policy, in which stars from the other 3 TGIF programs would rotate hosting responsibilities along with them on a week-to-week basis, would begin. Rotating with Full House that season were the casts of new arrival Family Matters, Perfect Strangers and Just the 10 of Us. On the premiere night of TGIF, the new comedy Free Spirit aired as a preview telecast at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Just the 10 of Us reclaiming its time slot the following week. During the inaugural season of the format, the TGIF logo was only featured at the start of every hosted segment, appearing in a design where each letter was encased in a tall gray box. The boxes would flip in at the bottom of the screen, stand still for a few seconds, and then turn out. One of the animated mice from the TGIF title sequences was featured on some weeks within the live-action host segments, and was introduced by the actors as the lineup's mascot, known as Friday the Mouse. Custom bumpers would appear after the final scene of each program, where normally a short cut of the show's title logo and theme would play, denoting the final commercial break. During the first season of TGIF, the bumpers featured additional animations of the mice, including variants that featured the taller mouse popping out of the grandfather clock, and a small mouse being dragged around by a running chainsaw around it. The official title logo for the respective program was displayed on either side of the clock. The closing animation, which ran after the credits of the 9:30 program, consisted of the same theme music, albeit with the lyrics, "See you next week here for a good laugh," followed by a few instrumental notes. Explosive success in the 1990s, with the TGIF moniker permanently in place, more changes in presentation occurred as the lineup grew in popularity. On September 21, 1990, the animated mice opening and accompanying theme music were dropped from the Friday block, in favor of a new graphics package that officially incorporated the new TGIF name for the first time. With these new visuals came the classic TGIF theme. For most of TGIF Euro's run until the 1998-99 season, at least one series on the lineup was produced by the team of Thomas L. Miller and Robert L. Boyett, whose relationship with ABC traces back to the premiere of Love, American Style produced by Miller and former producing partner Edward K. Milkis under a development deal with Paramount Television in 1972. The first 2 series were Perfect Strangers and Full House, both of which were produced through Miller-Boyett's development deal with Warner Brothers Television and aired on the network's Friday night schedule prior to the launch of TGIF. In 1989, Perfect Strangers spin-off Family Matters joined the lineup. During the 1990-91 season, all 4 TGIF shows were produced by Miller and Boyett: Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, Full House and the short-lived Going Places, a more adult-targeted entry that would reverse its ratings fortunes for the better after a retool that placed an equal emphasis on underage characters to give it more compatibility with the rest of the lineup. Going Places was cancelled after one season, and replaced in September 1991 by Baby Talk, a sitcom based on the film Look Who's Talking, which aired as a mid-season replacement while Going Places was on hiatus that spring, but collapsed in the ratings during its second season. Also joined the lineup for the 1991-92 season was another Miller Boyett series, the Brady Bunch-inspired Step by Step. During the most successful years of TGIF, the main characters of one of the Friday primetime sitcoms would host the 2-hour block of episodes for that week. Always in character, they would introduce each show and comment on the proceedings afterward. Sometimes, characters from a sitcom that did not air on the Friday schedule would appear to host. For example, in January 1996, Daniel Hugh Kelly, Betsy Brantley and other stars from the short-lived drama Second Noah served as one-time-only guest hosts of TGIF, mainly as a cross-promotion for the new Saturday series. Occasionally, the hosts for the evening would find a common thread between each show. During the fall seasons in the late 1980s and early 1990s, casts from various TGIF shows would host Saturday morning preview specials, which outlined much of new programs set to air on the Saturday morning fall schedule. When TGIF officially launched, weekly promos for the lineup were voiced by actor and resident ABC announcer Robert Ridgely, who had mainly been voicing sitcom promos, including those for Fridays, a few years before the brand was incorporated. Veteran television personality and announcer Gary Owens, who had been with ABC since 1985 as a primetime promo voiceover, became the sole announcer for weekly TGIF promotions beginning with the 1990-91 season and remained as the voice of TGIF until the end of the 1994-95 season. Also during the 1990-91 season, TGIF was promoted with a series of trading cards featuring publicity shots featuring the stars of Perfect Strangers, Full House and Family Matters. Summer months. During the first few years of TGIF, the host interstitials varied during the summer months. The regular hosting rotation continued with new segments during the summer of 1990, the final months of the mice motif. For the late spring and summer of 1991, ABC decided to relieve the TGIF stars of filming taping segments from their respective sets. Instead, stars performed voiceovers for TGIF trivia, game-like segments made up of episode scenes and multiple-choice questions. The trivia quiz provided A, B, and C choices of events that the home viewer was supposed to choose from for a supposed single correct answer. In reality, all choices were correct in each round, as every scene featured was from an actual episode inclusion. Stars that narrated TGIF trivia included Heather Locklear, Thelma Hopkins, Jodie Sweetin and Melanie Wilson. For the late spring and summer of 1992, ABC ran a promotional contest that chose winners from around the country to host TGIF for a week from their own homes. Those that were chosen were instructed to videotape their own segments from home, giving commentary on the shows that would air on the week they were scheduled to be featured. Families, individuals, groups of friends, couples, and most prominently teenagers were among the winners. The voiceover narration format from TGIF stars returned for the late spring and summer of 1993. This time, however, a rotation of stars would simply voice previews over upcoming episode scenes. As with the TGIF trivia format in 1991, a single star among them, Brandon Call and Jo Marie Payton would handle the duties each week. Payton, in particular, had the distinction of having one of the weeks she did segment narrations on August 6, 1993, when Perfect Strangers aired its series finale. From 1994 onward, original on-camera host segments returned to TGIF for the summer. Spin-off concepts. In the spring of 1991, with TGIF Euro's meteoric success, ABC President Bob Iger and Senior Vice President of Marketing of ABC Entertainment, Mark Zacharan appointed Jim Janice to expand his branding work to other portions of the ABC Entertainment schedule. The Hump Janice's first attempt to replicate the success of TGIF came in August 1991, when ABC launched a 3-hour comedy block on Wednesday nights for the 1991-92 season. Loosely known as The Hump, via the tagline "Over the Hump." Used in advertisements and the use of a 1970s funk-flavored background jingle which chanted, "I've got to get over the hump," the format came complete with promos that used a special graphics scheme, differing from TGIF and ABC's nights of regular, non-concept-based lineups. The concept title was another play on a popular catchphrase, in which Wednesday is typically referred to as Hump Day. From August to September 1991, the formation of the Hump consisted of The Wonder Years, Growing Pains, Doogie Howser, M.D., Davies Rules, Anything But Love and Married People, which were all in summer reruns. For the new fall season, the lineup changed to feature dinosaurs replacing Growing Pains at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, new sitcom Sibs at 9:30 p.m., and the new sitcom Good and Evil at 10:30 p.m. The sitcoms that aired between 9:30 and 11:00 were separately marketed from the first 3 programs on The Hump as comedies made specifically for adults. The adult promos for The Hump exclusively featured the funk-styled song, whereas promos for the 8:00-9:30 p.m. shows, and the entire lineup in general, used the instrumental version of the 1991 jingle for ABC's America's Watching campaign. Unlike TGIF and its future one-off concept I Love Saturday Night, The Hump did not use hosted interstitials or customize bumpers for the last commercial break of each show. With the cancellation of Good and Evil in late October, which the network claimed was entirely due to its low ratings in its 10:30 p.m. slot, along with the lackluster first-month ratings for Sibs, ABC was convinced that the 3-hour comedy block was a failure. The network opted to give the 10 p.m. slot on Wednesdays back to an hour-long drama, the upcoming legal series Civil Wars, during November sweeps. The Hump concept aired for the last time on October 30, 1991, and ABC resumed promoting the Wednesday lineup in standard fashion. Sibs went on hiatus, and Anything But Love was moved back into its former 9:30 p.m. Eastern slot on Wednesdays. For the weeks of November 6 and 13, 1991, specials aired in the 10 p.m. slot, prior the premiere of Civil Wars on November 20. MCTV, More Cool TV At the start of the 1991-92 season, Janice also brought the hosted programming block format to Saturday mornings, under the title MCTV. This title indicated that after TGIF on Friday nights, there was More Cool TV just hours away on Saturday morning. This block ran from September 7, 1991 to January 23, 1993. Live-action stars of the network's Saturday morning lineup, most notably including the cast of ABC's Land of the Lost revival, hosted interstitials every half hour. The MCTV segments at times were several seconds shorter than those shot for TGIF. While an opening sequence and custom last segment show bumpers were included, the theme music used was the instrumental version of ABC's 1991 America's Watching campaign. The latter music continued as a part of the MCTV scheme in its second year, despite ABC having launched the It Must Be ABC image campaign at that time. Also notably airing on MCTV was the cartoon Hammerman, whose star, MC Hammer, gave even more meaning to the Saturday morning lineup's moniker. Hammer himself appeared as host of MCTV on a few occasions. Hammerman was cancelled by the end of the 1991-92 season. In the fall of 1992, while the MCTV branding continued in use during the Saturday morning schedule, promos for the lineup no longer referenced the More Cool TV tagline. I Love Saturday Night Seeing how TGIF dominated primetime on Fridays in the face of typical decreased television viewership on that night, Janice and company felt that the same marketing power could translate into success for Saturday night. Saturday, as an even heavier social night not spent at home by viewers in the 18-49 demographic, resulted in most networks airing shows with older demographics, those with family appeal, or programs faltering in the ratings on other nights. NBC had claimed dominant victory on Saturday nights throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, with an eclectic mix of family-themed shows and sophisticated comedies aimed at an older audience. ABC, however, had continued to struggle on Saturday nights. Through the end of the 1990-91 television season, recent programs such as the ABC Mystery Movie and China Beach had experienced a quick death after moving to Saturdays, leading to such bold decisions as moving the nationwide phenomenon Twin Peaks to Saturday in order to shore up the lineup. After reformatting the Saturday night lineup for the 1991 fall schedule to include an hour of comedy followed by another established drama and a freshman drama, ABC announced plans for a Saturday TGIF offshoot to premiere at mid-season. Titled I Love Saturday Night, it launched to provide a new night and time for three of ABC's aging sitcoms, Who's the Boss?, Growing Pains and Perfect Strangers. The newcomer that rounded out the lineup was the Stephen Bochco cartoon Capital Critters. Premiering on February 1, 1992, the 2-hour comedy block of I Love Saturday Night coincided with The Young Riders, which had been airing Saturdays in the 9 p.m. Eastern hour, going on a 3-month hiatus. Freshman drama The Comish, meanwhile, remained at 10 p.m. Eastern. I Love Saturday Night was structured exactly like TGIF, with hosts from each show rotating every week, down to its own set of branding graphics and a theme song. The intro to the lineup began with a red ABC logo encased inside an animated heart, which bounced around, and then off, the screen. Set against various colored backgrounds, the lineup's title was then spelled out in the opening alongside views of animated suns, moons and palm trees. The theme song itself with the lyrics SATURDAY/Saturday Night. I Love Saturday/Saturday Night even had a calypso sound to it, with Jamaican-style male vocals. The last two lines of the theme were often sung over the show bumpers that led into the last commercial break of each show. The I Love Saturday Night lineup received heavy promotion, as ABC was valiantly trying to achieve any remaining life out of Who's the Boss? And Growing Pains especially. Those in the industry suspected that Perfect Strangers was moved to Saturdays not necessarily since it could have bolstered the lineup's performance, but because it was part of an ABC agenda to kill the series. Saturday night on ABC, especially up against NBC's powerhouse lineup of the evening, seemed a surefire place to send even a popular show into considerable ratings decline. This is exactly what happened, as ratings during the entire February sweeps period were the lowest of the season for ABC that night, with Perfect Strangers experiencing the largest single-season ratings decline for a series. After 5 dismal weeks in the Nielsen's, ABC had a rapid loss of faith in I Love Saturday Night. The branding concept for the Saturday lineup was used for the last time on February 29, 1992. Cast members from all 3 of the live-action shows hosted I Love Saturday Night in rotation during the 5-week run, February 1, 1992, Mark Linn-Baker and Bronson Pinchot, Perfect Strangers, February 8, 1992, Kirk Cameron, Jeremy Miller and Leonardo DiCaprio, Growing Pains, February 15, 1992, Tony Danza and Judith Light, Who's the Boss? February 22, 1992, Mark Linn-Baker and Bronson Pinchot, Perfect Strangers, February 29, 1992, Kirk Cameron, Jeremy Miller, Ashley Johnson and Leonardo DiCaprio, Growing Pains, Capital Critters and Perfect Strangers did not air on this night, although Pinchot and Linn-Baker did host. The Jaleel White special aired from 8:00 to 9 p.m., followed by Who's the Boss? At 9 o'clock and Growing Pains in its regular 9:30 slot. Beyond the quick demise of I Love Saturday Night, the same lineup, more or less, continued on ABC for the remainder of the 1991-92 season. Capital Critters was cancelled in March. This caused the remaining 3 shows to switch slots in order to provide a choice time period for the head of the class spin-off Billy, which moved to the lineup. Boss and Pains, meanwhile, had announced the end of their runs in the spring of 1992, but both would remain on Saturdays until summer reruns. These shows aired their 1-hour finales on Saturday, April 25, 1992, along with the series finale of MacGyver, which aired on this night for 1 week only. Both Perfect Strangers and Billy would remain part of the lineup after Boss and Paynes relocated. 2 new sitcoms premiered on Saturdays that spring and summer, Julie, starring Julie Andrews, and the David Lynch-produced comedy On the Air. The failure of these programs, along with ABC's decision to not renew Billy for a second season and the announcement that Perfect Strangers was going on a long hiatus, marked the end of any attempt by ABC to program comedies or family fare on that night. Once every few years, ABC would again try to program such shows on Saturday nights with no success. The lone exception in this case was The Wonderful World of Disney, which ABC revived after it was bought by Disney and eventually moved to Saturday nights in 2003, where it ran until it was discontinued in 2008. Special events. In November 23, 1995, ABC scheduled a music special for the Beatles anthology. To promote the special on the previous Friday, the respective opening theme songs for all of the TGIF sitcoms were replaced with Beatles songs, regardless of the individual show's plot with the exception of Boy Meets World, which used a song by the Monkees as its theme that week. On November 7, 1997, all 4 TGIF shows that night had a storyline in which Salem from Sabrina, the teenage witch, caused the characters in each show to travel back to a different point in time, the result of the warlock-turned anthropomorphic cat having swallowed a time ball. On an episode of Boy Meets World aired the previous week, Melissa Joan Hart made a second cameo, as an aside, due to the episode in question featuring a plot involving a coven of witches being thwarted from taking the soul of supporting main character Jack Hunter. The cameo featured fellow main character Eric Matthews describing the event and swearing off witches, not realizing that Sabrina is one. Musical group Hanson hosted TGIF in the lead-up to their special Meet Hanson. Between each show, segments showed the group in the studio, commanding the shows to come on, and at one point even incorporating TGIF into their mega-hit song MMMBOP. Change end of original TGIF. The Walt Disney Company purchased ABC corporate parent Capital Cities Communications in September 1995, and, after finalizing the sale the following year, began reshaping the network to its preferences beginning in 1997, refocusing its attention towards programming toward adult audiences. As a result of the overhaul, longtime TGIF staples Family Matters and Step by Step were cancelled. The 2 shows would be revived by CBS, where they would serve as the linchpins for a new, competing block airing on the same night, the CBS Block Party. That block, which aired during the 1997-98 season, failed with both the lineup and all 4 of its shows only lasting 1 season. ABC's TGIF lineup began to experience sagging ratings in part due to the audience fracture from the block party, which was enough to hurt TGIF even though the competing CBS block itself was a failure. Popular programs such as Boy Meets World and Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, started experiencing declining ratings. New shows joined the lineup, including the likes of Teen Angel and You Wish, which lasted only a season before they were cancelled. As part of a network-wide rebranding toward a simplified graphics package, ABC retired the traditional TGIF logo and phased out the theme song. The 1998-99 season saw 2 promising shows in Two of a Kind and Brothers Keeper, both of which had respectable ratings, but were cancelled after that season. What would become the final season of TGIF, a Euro's original run, saw additional changes. Sophomore series The Hileys moved from Tuesdays to Fridays for the 1999 2000 season, while the new comedy Odd Man Out joined the lineup. All 4 sitcoms aired by the network on Fridays during that season experienced varied fates. Sabrina, The Teenage Witch and The Hileys were both cancelled by ABC and revived by other networks. Odd Man Out was cancelled outright, and Boy Meets World voluntarily ended its run after 7 seasons. The final night of new programming was on May 5, 2000, which featured the hour-long series finale of Boy Meets World, followed by what was billed as ABC's series finale of Sabrina, The Teenage Witch, which was also expanded to 1 hour. Repeats of both series continued throughout the summer. ABC retired the TGIF brand shortly thereafter. Second run equals, in September 2000, ABC relaunched its Friday sitcom block under the working comedy banner for the 2000-01 season. The block featured fading comedies Two Guys and a Girl and Norm, and freshman sitcoms The Trouble with Normal and Madigan Men, which underperformed. This lineup only lasted 1 year, with all 4 shows being cancelled by the end of the season. ABC then opted to running dramas and reality shows such as The Mole. By then, Friday nights were the second weakest night of the week for television viewership, with only a few shows receiving attention, such as CBS CSI, which premiered on Friday. This meant that for the first time since the 1988 to 1989 television season, ABC promoted Friday night lineups in a standard fashion between 2001 and 2003. TGIF returned to ABC on September 26, 2003. The relaunched block received heavy promotion in advance, including a promo spot employing the Village People pop tune YMCA, featuring all the casts of all 4 family comedies seated on a living room couch. The initial lineup for the revived TGIF featured returning comedies George Lopez and Life with Bonnie, and freshman series Married to the Kellys and Hope and Faith. That season's lineup met with only moderate success, seeing a consistent second or third place showing against a popular CBS drama lineup that included Joan of Arcadia and Jag. Alex Trebek briefly served as host and spokesman for the block, but for the majority of the TGIF revival, the block aired without a host thereby differing from the concept of the original 1989 to 2000 version. Hope and Faith was the only show from the previous season that remained on the Friday lineup for the 2004-05 season, with 8 Simple Rules moving from Tuesdays to anchor the lineup, joined by freshman comedy Complete Savages and returning workplace sitcom Less Than Perfect. By early 2005, ABC had stopped actively promoting the TGIF name. The network discontinued the TGIF block for the second time on September 16, 2005. This came despite CBS cancellations of both Joan and Jag in May 2005. For the 2005-06 season, Hope and Faith continued to air on Friday nights, while Less Than Perfect was renewed as a mid-season replacement. Post-2005 In recent years, Friday nights on ABC have been primarily used to air reality programs, occasional encores of the network's dramas and comedies, and ABC News human interest programming. 20/20 remains a stalwart to the Friday night schedule to end the evening. Those TGIF series that had reached, or come close to, the 100 episodes necessary to be syndicated were offered to local stations for a time period, after which they were sold to cable channels. Disney Channel aired reruns of Boy Meets World from 2000 to 2007 and briefly in 2014. The latter instance was part of a programming stunt to promote its sequel series, Girl Meets World, focusing on the children of the earlier sitcom's principal characters Corey Matthews and Topanga Lawrence Matthews. ABC and Disney Channel's sister network ABC Family has rebroadcast episodes of Boy Meets World, Full House, Step by Step, Family Matters, Sabrina, The Teenage Witch and 8 Simple Rules. MTV2 also airs Boy Meets World through a separate syndication deal. Nick at Night has aired Full House, Family Matters and Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. Ion Television formerly ran Perfect Strangers and Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. Prior to its replacement by Discovery Family in October 2014, the Hub Network also aired Step by Step and Sister for several months that year. Return of comedy to Friday nights. On May 15, 2012, ABC announced the return of family-oriented comedies to its Friday night schedule starting that November, by pairing Last Man Standing and freshman sitcom Malibu Country together from 8:00 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, along with returning shows Shark Tank and 20/20. The TGIF name was not revived, however, with the hour being advertised as ABC Comedy Friday for that season. Happy Endings moved to the 8 p.m. hour on Fridays on March 29 after Last Man Standing and Malibu Country ended their respective seasons. That move was effectively criticized as a burn-off maneuver due to both the double episode scheduling and ABC choosing not to renew Happy Endings for a fourth season 2 months later. The one-hour family comedy block returned for the 2013 Euro 14 season, with sophomore series The Neighbours joining Last Man Standing, where the former floundered. Another freshman comedy, Cries Teller, joined Last Man Standing on Fridays for the 2014 Euro 15 season. Yet another sitcom, Dr. Ken, will join Last Man Standing on the block in 2015 Euro 16. Due partly to the continued strength of Shark Tank and 20/20, ABC has become a challenger for CBS' usual dominance on Friday nights since the 2012 Euro 13 season. ABC later paid homage to the TGIF phrase and branding when it began marketing its Thursday night lineup for the 2014 Euro 15 season, consisting entirely of dramas created by Shonda Rhimes, as TGIT. Other than the similarity in name and both airing on the same network, the two blocks are in no way related. TGIF lineup history. References. External links, TGIF at the Internet Movie Database.